Apex predator, high on cocaine, out of his goddamn mind. Cocaine bear, bear on cocaine. Bears can't climb trees. Of course they can. Apex predator.
Cocaine Bear is the third feature film from actress-turned-director Elizabeth Banks. She also brought us Pitch Perfect 2 and 2019's Charlie's Angels. I didn't see either one of those, so I can't speak on them shits. This was my intro to Ms. Banks as a director. The film was inspired by true events. In 1985, a bunch of cocaine was dropped from a plane by convicted drug smuggler Andrew C. Thornton II. Andrew then jumped from the plane with a faulty parachute and fell to his death. Roughly 90 days later, a 175-pound black bear, that's not that big, was found dead of an overdose next to a duffel bag and a bunch of opened plastic containers.
That old boy ingested millions of dollars worth of coke and had a terrible day.
Let's see what kind of effect that has on him.
Earning the nickname Pablo Escobar, the animal was stuffed and at one time was owned by Waylon Jennings. Now the real cocaine bear resides on display at the Kentucky Fun Mall. Because dead animals are fun?
It was almost like a movie. You know, you wouldn't believe it. You know, it seemed too good to be true.
The film, if you've so much as seen the trailer, then you know it takes a ton of liberties and goes in a completely different direction with the coked up bear going on a murderous rampage.
Cocaine Bear has a pretty impressive cast for a movie with a synopsis you would normally associate with asylum films. We get Ray Liotta's final performance before his passing. There's also O'Shea Jackson Jr., Alden Ehrenreich, Kerry Russell, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., character actor Margot Martindale, Brooklyn Pierce, and a bunch of other knuckleheads. Perhaps too many knuckleheads to actually give a shit about any one of them. I'm not going to go through a full breakdown of the story. I mean, it's about a bear that does cocaine.
Goddamn.
So let's just skip straight to my pros and cons. First off,
pros, the kills.
I was super happy with the kills here. They were brutal, gory, and hilarious.
But it kind of seems like the thing that stays with the man forever.
They were exactly what I was hoping for. You listening, Megan? After perusing online, it seems that the general consensus is that the ambulance scene is the highlight of Cocaine Bear, and I have to agree. That whole sequence was solid. No spoilers, let's move on.
Self-awareness.
Cocaine Bear is 100% self-aware at how ridiculous it is. It never takes itself seriously, and that's a good thing. It's goofy. The film delivered exactly what the trailers promised. Now, did every joke land for me? Hell no. But I for sure LOL'd a few times, didn't necessarily LMAO. I feel kind of weird reviewing a comedy because personally I feel that comedy might be the most subjective art form. There's shit I find funny that just doesn't work for a lot of people. I don't think anyone is really right or wrong when it comes to what makes people laugh.
And I just get the feeling that everyone working on this movie was just having a blast the whole time.
Now let's get to the cons.
A bear did cocaine. Fuck all you hoes!
I can't feel my face.
Subplots.
Pretty much all of the characters' subplots just felt like they didn't really fit with the story. It was more like they just needed to pad out the running time. For instance, the whole thing with Bob, the cop, and his dog just felt pointless when it was all over. Then there's Eddie, who's mourning the death of his ex. Like, okay. I mean, spoilers. The dog ends up with Eddie and David, so were they implying that the dog will fill that void of Eddie losing his ex-wife to cancer? These subplots just sort of took me out of the movie and really slowed things down.
What the f***?
There were a few instances where we would see something on screen and then a character would deliver dialogue that totally went against the visual. Examples.
Park Ranger Liz states that the bear took a bite out of her ass, but we plainly saw, in a close-up no less, that it was a claw mark, not a bite.
Another one.
When the bear momentarily comes down from his high and passes out on top of Eddie, well, Eddie says the bear is a female because its vagina is against his ear. But we clearly saw, when the bear collapsed on top of him, his head would have been around the bear's chest or neck. And this is reestablished when the bear gets off of him.
I noticed these things. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but those things really stuck out. And there was more, but fuck it. Let's get to my final thoughts.
So in the end, Cocaine Bear made for a fun time at the theater. It was silly. It was a good time. Not a masterpiece, but it wasn't bad either. It's just Cocaine Bear. I don't know what else I would have expected. I did like the soundtrack. I forgot to mention that in my pros. The soundtrack was good. Now, before I give it a rating, I tried really hard to not be biased because this is the first movie I've reviewed in which I actually know one of the actors. There she is. There we are. There we are again. Yeah, I co-wrote a movie that Margot Martindale appeared in over a decade ago. If you're interested, the movie's called Scalene, and it's available for rent on YouTube, or you could just hop over to Tubi and watch it for free.
And if this goes anywhere, I will fucking kill you.
So, I have to give Cocaine Bear
6 golden awards out of 10 golden awards.
What did you think of Cocaine Bear? What do you think of cocaine? Do you have some? Let me know in the comments.
Bye.
Cocaine Bear was directed by Elizabeth Banks. Cocaine Bear was inspired by true story. Pablo Escobar, Cocaine Bear, DJ Khaled, Cocaine Bear, apex predator high on cocaine, out of his goddamn mind. Cocaine Bear, Bear.
Because drugs, especially cocaine, are very, very bad.